everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I'm going to be profiling for you my Dark Magician deck. Now a lot of people are going to say, well, your name is Seto Kaiba on your YouTube channel, you shouldn't like Dark Magician. Well, I say to that, I love all iconic cards, and especially Dark Magician along with Blue Eyes White Dragon, even though I love Blue Eyes White Dragon a little bit more. Now there's a couple of things quickly I want you to keep in mind when watching this deck profile and I want to talk about before I profile the deck. Number one, the main focus of this deck is Dark Magician and getting Dark Magician out. That he's the boss monster-esque of the deck along with his fusion monsters. The second thing I want you to keep in mind is this is more of a Dark Magician and Spellcasters and Friend deck. So it's Dark Magician with a bunch of other Spellcasters and Friends. So it's Dark Magician and Friends deck, I guess you could say. It does play the fusions, but it plays other ways. It does other things as well. I've been playing with Dark Magician ever since the Spellbook engine originally came out, and I played around with it because I thought it would be a good engine, but I put it down because I found some inconsistencies with it originally, and then I picked it up again when Eye of Timaeus came out. The last thing I want to mention is there are two cards in this deck that I played because of the fact that I would feel so wrong if I did not play these cards in a Dark Magician deck. I would talk about those as I go through the deck profile. And the last thing I want to mention to you guys is the fact that there are certain cards that I did not play in this deck because I played tested them before, and I found some inconsistencies in this particular build with playing those cards, things like Secret Vigil the Spellcaster. So first off, we run our 3 Dark Magician. Dark Magician is the boss monster-esque of this deck. We run the 2 original Dark Magician that my brother originally picked up when we started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I played Seto Kaiba, he played Yu-Gi-Moto, so these were his 2 original Dark Magicians. And this middle one here is a Legend of Blue Eyes Dark Magician that I picked up I actually got out of a pack like years ago. So we have that, and as well, we also run 1 Dark Magician Girl. I had to run Dark Magician Girl on this deck. If you're so wrong calling it a Dark Magician deck without playing Dark Magician Girl, it's like calling a Blue Eyes deck Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you only play 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon. It just doesn't feel right. If you understand what I'm trying to say. But there are ways, if this gets cloggy, we play in the deck. We play things like Magical Dimension and Allure of Darkness. So if you do get a dead Dark Magician in hand or a dead Dark Magician Girl in hand, you can banish it to draw 2 cards. You can special summon it. You can special summon it from your hand with Magical Dimension. So there's ways of getting Dark Magician out of your hand if you draw Dark Magician with Dark Magician Girl. A lot of people I've seen run 3 Dark Magicians and 3 Dark Magicians Girl if they're doing this. But I find that if you just run 1 Dark Magician Girl, if you can get into the fusion because you don't draw her, great. If you don't, you have ways of special summoning her from your hand or banishing her to draw 2 cards. So it's perfectly fine in my book. So 3 Dark Magician and 1 original Dark Magician Girl that I pulled out of a pack back in the day. Then we run our 3 Elemental Hero Prisma. Prisma is your main way of getting your Dark Magician-esque fusions out of your deck over here, your extra deck. So that's the main way of getting them out, is through Elemental Prisma. Plus you can use them in combination with Dark Magic Attack, which I'll talk about some more later. With Dark Magic Attack and just wreck your opponent's back row very easily. But he's also a light target, so you can run a Chaos Engine in this deck, which I'll explain more a little bit later. Plus you can also run a mini hero engine as well. So next we run 3 skilled Dark Magician. A lot of people are going to say 3 skilled Dark Magician, a little bit too much, but you do run Magical Dimension, so honestly sometimes I'll just summon skilled Dark Magician, activate Magical Dimension, tribute the skilled Dark Magician to get a Dark Magician out of the deck, or excuse me, out of my hand, or a Dark Magician Girl for that matter. Plus the fact that you do run a slew of spell cards. I mean, most of your deck is spell. I would honestly say probably over 40% of the deck is spell cards. So it's very easy to get his effect off, to get 3 counters on him to get special summon Dark Magician very easily. And plus he's a 19 beat stick, which is not bad either. Then we run our Spellcaster-esque friends, which is Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, Breaker the Magical Warrior, and Magician's Valkyria, the old Show and Jump promo one. So these are pretty much because you run the Spellbook engine, a very mini Spellbook engine in the deck, so you can use these guys to become very beefy with the help of Spellbook of Power. So Kaiku with Spellbook of Power becomes a 28 beat stick, Breaker the Magical Warrior can become a 29 beat stick or a 26 beat stick. Valkyria can become a 26 beat stick as well. Plus, Valkyria is a light target. This is the other card I was talking about that I just felt wrong without not running it in a Dark Magician deck. I've always considered Magician's Valkyria a honorary Dark Magician card, and also for the fact that I've always liked her artwork, and I've always liked the card in general, and it's actually not that bad. It has a good purpose in this deck because it can protect your Dark Magician if you have a Dark Magician out in the field. So if you have another spellcaster out in the field, she can protect it. They have to destroy this card before they have to destroy your Dark Magician if they're attacking. Plus, she is a light target, so you can use it with the mini Chaos Engine, as well as summoning Blackluster Soldier. So Breaker's pretty good because you can pop back row. Kaiku can get rid of problematic cards in your opponent's graveyard so they can't set up for combo plays. So those are my 3 other spellcasters I run. Plus you contribute them to get with Magical Dimension to get Dark Magician out of your hand. Then we run 1 BLS because you run a good amount of light and darks in this deck, and for that matter, you can easily special summon him. You run 4 lights and a whole bunch of darks. On to the spells, we run 3 Eye of Timaeus. Eye of Timaeus is your main way. This is your very, very good card that came out of Dragons of Legend, and this is your main way of fusioning summoning your Dark Magician cards. Then we run 3 Dark Magic Attack. Every time I say this card's name, I think of the way that Yugimoto used to say it with a Pharaoh or Tim. He'd be like, Dark Magician, Dark Magic Attack! And I just have that voice inside my head, the way he used to say it. So originally I was just running 2 Dark Magic Attack instead of 3, and running just 2 Dark Magician and a Dark Magician Girl. But I honestly found that this card's very powerful. Many times, I'll go Elemental Hero Prisma, send a Dark Magician to the grave, Prisma becomes Dark Magician, then you activate Dark Magic Attack, and just destroy your opponent's back row. I've literally had people not even know what's going on, and I'll be like, summon Prisma, they have 3 or 4 back row, activate Prisma's effect, okay, pitch Dark Magician to the graveyard, activate Dark Magic Attack, blow up 3 or 4 of your back row, clear the board of their back row, and just proceed from there. And honestly, I found sometimes just running an extra Dark Magician sometimes, even if you don't have Eye of Timaeus, and just going Prisma, send a Dark Magician to the graveyard, activate Dark Magic Attack, destroy 3 or 4 back row, can put you in a much better winning position. So that's why this card is very, very good in my personal opinion. I really like it as a 3 of. This deck really can deal with back row a lot. And then we run a mini Spellbook Engine. Now, I will say right now that I've seen a lot of players run the Spellbook Engine. This is Spellbook of Secrets, by the way, if you can't tell. So 2 Spellbook of Secrets, not 3. 3 is a little bit cloggy in my opinion, because you just run a mini engine. You're not running a full-blown Spellbook engine. And that's the problem I've always seen with people playing Spellbooks in a Dark Magician deck. They play a Spellbook deck and put Dark Magician in the deck. They don't make it a Dark Magician deck and put Spellbooks in the deck. They put the cart before the horse. They try to fit a Dark Magician in a Spellbook deck. And I find that they add a lot of Spellbook cards like Tower and, you know, Fate and Wisdom and all these other cards in life that, you know, make it more of a Spellbook deck. And I find that can be very cloggy because you're not getting to your power card, your Dark Magician card. So I just run a mini version of that, and from experience and playing with it, it works very well. Though I will admit I have considered running maybe 1 extra Spellbook card. I haven't decided if I'm going to or not, but I'll leave that up to you. So 2 Spellbook of Secrets, 2 Spellbook of Secrets, so you can search out your 3 power, Spellbook of Power, and your 2 Spellbook of Wisdom. These are your main Spellbook of cards. Spellbook of Power can search, Spellbook of Wisdom, etc. Search out another Spellbook of Power. It helps you run over your opponent's cards, big monsters with your small spellcasters, and Wisdom also protects your spellcasters as well. So these are the main core of the Spellbook deck that I took and put in this deck, and it works very, very, very well. You may want to run other Spellbook cards, but I wouldn't suggest running too much more. Maybe 1 extra, because if you make it a full-blown Spellbook deck, it's gonna give you inconsistencies, and I've seen that with every person that's ever tried Dark Magician and Spellbooks out before. That's just from personal experience I'm speaking. You don't want to run too much of it. Then we run 2 Rhoda. A lot of people right now that I've seen deck profiles of, because there's not really a lot of Dark Magician decks profiles out there, they run 3 Rhoda or 3 E-Call or 3 Rhoda and an E-Call. for just 3 targets, which is your 3 element of Prisma. And I found that that's way too much. You only have 3 targets. Those other cards are going to become dead draws. And yes, I've seen people use Summoner Monk so they can pitch those cards, but you're not getting no benefit out of it. You're just adding dead cards, you know, in the deck. Well, you could just yank that out very easily. Yes, you could go for Daigusto Emerald, but still, I find that it works out a lot easier this way. So, and plus the fact that you don't always have to go for the fusions right away. You can use the Spellbook engine with Spellbook of Power and things like that to bait out your opponent's back row, get around your opponent, make them, you know, not knowing what's going on, and play it that way, and then eventually go into your big fusions once it's mid to late game, or late early game, I guess you could say, by turn 3 maybe. So that's where I like just 2 Rhoda. You can search out your Prismas very easily, and they're not going to become dead draws for the most part. So 2 Rhoda. If you want to run a third, be my guest, but 2's good enough for me, because you only have 3 targets. 3 targets, excuse me. Then I run 2 Pod Duality. A lot of people have tried out before Upstart Goblin, Reckless Greed, I've seen, things of that nature, but you want to thin through your deck and try to find your combo pieces so you can set up for them later on. And you can just use your Spellbook engine, you know, to buy time until, you know, you bring out your big fusion monsters and whatnot. So just 2 Pod Dualities. It works very well as a 2-of to search your deck out to some degree and thin your deck out and look for your combo pieces. So that's why I like 2 pots. Then I run 2 Miracle Fusion. I have considered maybe dropping this down to 1 Miracle Fusion for the fact that, you know, you only have 3 targets really to go off with this, but it's a very good alternative way of getting a boss monster out, like Elemental Hero Shining or Escorido. So I like it as a 2-of. You may want to drop it down to a 1-of. I'm still play testing this deck to some degree, and also, if I haven't mentioned already, this deck is 40 cards. There's 40 cards in the deck, but it's very good, it's helpful, and I like it as just a 2-of. Next we run 2 Magical Dimension. Magical Dimension is very useful. It's a quick play spell, which makes it extra good, and you can really do some crazy things with this, but you can blow up an opponent's monster, I believe, on the field. It's been a long time since I've read this card. Yes, one monster on your side of the field, special summon it, and from your hand, then you can destroy 1 monster on your opponent's side of the field. So it's kind of a 1-for-1, but it's a way of getting Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl out of your hand if it's a dead card in your hand. And it's a quick play spell, which is extra good. So it's a very good way of getting around problematic cards that are on the field that you can't normally get around, and it's also very good because it can help you get a dead card out of your hand. And you can easily tribute a dead spellcaster monster on your field that's just not really helping you. Like your spellcaster friends and your skilled Dark Magician, just tribute it, and then go on, proceed, you know, get a Dark Magician out. So it's not that bad at all. I like it because it's an alternative way of getting dead cards out of your hand. So then we run Regeki, Allure of Darkness, Soul Charge, Book of Moon as your 1-of spell cards. Regeki, just a good card in general. Allure of Darkness, way of getting your dead Dark Magician Girl out of your hand. Soul Charge can help you set up for combo plays. Book of Moon, just a good card in general. And another way of adding spell counters to your skilled Dark Magicians. The last card I run in the main deck is called the Haunted. I mean, you could run Secret Village of the Spellcasters, but like I said before, I found kind of inconsistencies in this particular build of running that, because when you summon the fusions, they're dragons. They're not spellcasters. And plus, it's just, you already have enough ways to deal with back row removal and spells and traps. You have Wisdoms, you have Breaker, you have 3 dark magic attacks. You have enough ways of running, you know, getting around back row and problems of that nature, because you can just easily remove it. And that's why one of the reasons why I don't run MST in this deck. You already have 3 MST in the form of Dark Magic Attack. You also have Breaker, and you have Wisdom to protect your spellcasters. So Call of the Haunted's good, because sometimes what I've done before is I'll go Call of the Haunted, bring back Dark Magician, Dark Magic Attack, blow up the back row. I have Timaeus, whatever. Just it helps with combo plays and bringing out big monsters that have been dead and attacking with them. So I like it as a 1-of. You could run Royal Decree, but you destroy most of your opponent's back row with all these other spell and trap removal cards. So for your extra deck, we run 2 Amulet Dragon. You usually go into 1 or 2 a duel. I really like it. The extra deck is a little bit tight for space, so you gotta make every card count to some degree. So 2 Amulet Dragon. Next we run the 1 Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. I love this card's artwork. It looks amazing. She looks amazing. It's a pretty dang good card actually too. So 1 of that card. Then we run for the Hero Engine. We run 1 Elemental Hero, the Shining, and 1 Elemental Hero, Escorido. These are your 2 cards you can go into. You run light and dark, so you can go for either or. Then we run your 2 other Dark Magician-esque cards. We run 2 Dark Paladin. Dark Paladin is an okay card. Some people say it's really good. I find it's a decent to good card. But you can go into this very easily as well. But I like it as a 2 of. Some people like running it as a 1 of. Some people a 2 of. But I really like the card, and I just run it as a 2 of, in case that opportunity arises. Then we run for your Exceed monsters. We run for your rank 7s. We run Ebonon, the Illusion Magician. This is a new card that just came out of the Show and Jump promo. Number 11, Big Eye, Dragosack, and number 74, Master of Keyblades. I just like Master of Keyblades and it comes in handy. Dragosack, just a good card, rank 7 wise. Number 11, Big Eye, same reason, very good rank 7 card. And Ebonon Magician's just a very good rank 7 Spellcaster-esque card. Though I wish Manji Girl was actually out in the freaking TCG right now. Little side note. Number 11 Big Eye is a spellcaster monster, and I have used Spellbook of Wisdom on there because I've had people go Regeki, and I'll have face down Spellbook of Wisdom, and I'll be like, nope, protect number 11 Big Eye from spells. Regeki doesn't hit it because he's a spellcaster monster. So there's a little bit of synergy for you right there. And then last up for your rank 4 Exceeds, we run Dagusto Emerald, number 101 Silent Arc Honors, Castel, Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller, good card for dealing with cards that activate engrave. Castel, spinning things back. 101 for dealing with big special summon monsters. And Dagusto Emerald, you can reshuffle cards that you have in your deck back to your from your graveyard back to your deck, plus the fact that he does special summon a normal monster from the graveyard. So he's a monster reborn in some ways for normal monsters. So guys, I hope you all enjoyed this Dark Magician deck profile. I apologize that this profile was very long. I just had a lot to explain, and I hope you learned from it, and I hope you enjoyed this profile for you, that I did. Like I said, it's a fun deck. I am still playtesting some things in the deck, like I've talked about in the deck profile, but it's honestly a very good deck, and it's probably on par with my Blue Eyes White Dragon deck, honestly, in terms of playability. It may be even better than Blue Eyes White Dragon to some degrees, because it's actually pretty consistent and good. Though I do wish that Manji Girl was out here in the TCG, and I wish Konami would make some form of a Dark Magician Blue Eyes White Maiden. What they did with Blue Eyes White Maiden for Blue Eyes, I wish they would do the same thing to Dark Magician Girl. And I honestly wish we would also get the OCG cards that they've been making a lot lately that are Dark Magician-esque related, like some of those that got reviewed a couple of weeks ago. Now, I apologize, the ban list is coming up, so I don't know also how accurate this is going to be, because the ban list has not been revealed yet, as of right now as making this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this profile. And until next time, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you, and I hope you all enjoyed this Dark Magician deck profile and you learned something from this. So take care everybody, and good luck dueling.